I got old skates.
4 elements. There's DJing, there's breaking, there's graffiti, and then there's the MC. Top of the food chain, devouring the competition. Abort mission, cause it's the bomb like nuclear fission. To go against them arsonists, now that's a bad decision. Cause it's steadily dropping shit like a flock of pigeons. So listen as I paddle up your ear canals torrential. Waters on instrumental, feeding you vitamins and all essentials. Potential's monumental when it comes to hip-hop. Making a terror stop is like holding back a triceratops. Our ratios replacing those wannabes you're facing pros. Screaming about your drugs, money, violence, and fellatios. Stereotypes got you blind like Venetians. The bullshit they're speaking's causing ozone depletion. Delivery upon completion. We're civilized like the Phoenicians, but won't hesitate, commence deletion. I hit backspace and you're gone within a second. My clarity's beyond, but I stay mic check. Now tell me who's known for rocking the mic. Setting fires blazing all stages of sight.
Hey everybody, Whack to Blading here. It's gonna be a spooky time reviewing these all black boots, but I'm really excited. It's starting to rain, I'm just gonna get into it. Alright, I don't know if I'm on frame, so I'm crouching. I'm gonna do a 3-piece here, just gonna do 3 soles in a row and see how these feel right off the bat. Anyway, here goes. Oh my god, this park sucks. My eyes are rattling. Like, I can see the vibrations. I want to start off by saying I'm so sorry to the people of Manistee, Michigan for this absolutely horrific skate park. So needless to say, it's starting to rain too. Kind of dashes my hopes, but we will carry on. Oops. Oh. All right. Today, I'm going to be using the USD Carbon 4s. I'm also using a new microphone and it's really windy, so. The Carbon 4s were my 3rd boot. I started with Rose's M12s and then I went to Shadows, just the original Shadows. I pronounced them weird because I'm weird. But I wanted to come back for my 909s and review the Carbon 4s again because I remember them being probably a good contender for my 2nd favorite boot, competing with the Rems HR 2.5s. So I've been skating these for probably a good 3 months again, on and off. I like to switch back between my 909s for big wheeling and these for aggressive blading right now. I've done big wheeling with these and I just really wasn't a big fan, so I'm skating these with Jimmy Sizz Sick urethane wheels, the Samurai Champloo inspired ones. I'm skating the Ground Control Featherlight 3s, and I've got the Nick Lomax MyFit second skin liners in here. I really enjoy the second skins. I actually have a second pair waiting for me at home, but I don't want to break them in because I want to see how long these last me. So far they've been doing really well. So let's see how a carbon and foot wrap style boot compares to a hard shell that I've been rocking for the past like 6-7 months. All right, I'm gonna do that, but actually, and then let you know what I think. Man, these skates are sticky. Again, I don't know how much time was spent on these soles by the original owner. A decent bit, because the groove that's on this is not mine. I did add a little bit to the groove in my last video, but not much. That being said, I feel like they shouldn't be this slow. I've scraped wax off of these already and stuff like that, all the old gunk, and they still are pretty slow. But they connect really easy. You could see some of that grace and leeway coming into play as I was riding on my frame and then fell and set into my sole plate. And then also a little bit of that grace from the flex of the fabric, where I was trying to do a sole and I ended up doing like a tabernacle or whatever that was. It was very strange, but I didn't feel like I was gonna die or break anything. So, you know, props. I don't know why, but the H-block is still kind of hard for me to aim on this. I would imagine it has to do with just switching boots. It's probably nothing to do specifically with the carbon, but I did notice that. So let me get over to the pole and see if I can do the deed.
What's going break. Give me a break.
All right. I really do like these blades for grinding. The sole plate connects just perfectly. And this thing is really beaten up and it's still connecting really well. Unfortunately, it's still really slow. Not much can be done about that, but I'll probably end up getting new soles for this so I can make these my practice blades, because if you want to learn grinds, I think these are going to be great for you. I just kept missing and somehow landing on the rail. If you happen to catch my last stream here at Huizinga with Chef Stance, I was practicing top soles for like the first 40 minutes of the stream. Top soles and top acids. And I just could not make them happen. And then I just came here and did some far side soles. Granted, I didn't get anything onto the proper side, so they're far side, not top side. I'm not an incredible blader, so I do need the help from a big sole plate. But out of all the boots that I've tried, starting with the M12s to the Shadows, then the Carbon 4s, then the Rems, and the 909s, I think these connect the best to grinding. And that's really interesting. It's a combination of the stiff heel and the loose toe box for me, I think, that makes it so I can be confident in where I'm going to land with my heels, because I stand on my heels a lot and a lot of my balance is in my heels. Then I can use my toes to influence how I'm actually going to lock. Whereas with a plastic boot, I feel like I have to do whole foot movements. I feel like with this one, I can work my heel and my toes almost independently. And that gives me the ability to really hone in my grinds and, as I'm sliding, figure out what I want to do. All right, I'm going to switch out the lens and get a few more grinds on this because they're feeling really good. I want to keep that going. And then I'm going to hit the down rail a few times and come back to you. I bit the bullet and actually ended up waxing this, and now it slides great. So a big part is I'm stupid and don't wax things. And so these soles don't seem to slide great unless you have wax. Now that I've waxed, all right. Oh, almost fell. These skates are just fantastic for grinding. I have never felt more confident on this down rail before, and I've never done a Royale or a Unity on a down rail. Granted, this is the lowest down rail in like all of Michigan, but that was fun. And you spend more time on this rail. That being said, I would not have had the confidence to do these grinds like the Unity and the Royale with them skates. I really do think the leeway and the grace that these skates give are what I've been looking for my grinding. I wish these skates were more comfortable. I'm gonna get new sole plates so I can really see how new carbon soles would slide. But man, I'm definitely keeping anti-rocker set up on this all the time. And whenever I'm not getting grinds, I'll probably switch back to this and just sacrifice a little bit of foot uncomfortability. Because it's really just the outer toes that are kind of starting to get numb and a little bit sore. Everything else is fine. Although I will say though, my feet are a little more beaten up because of the carbon again, of how stiff they are. That, and I forgot, the double negative took a little while for me to get into. I don't know what it is about the negative plates on these, but I'm not very good at grabbing onto ledges with these. It took me a little bit to get the aim down, but then when I finally locked in, it was just sticking like glue. It's that real sticky, icky. So I waxed the crap out of this rail and the negative sole plates, and that helped, but it still wasn't great. But that being said, I'm gonna finish up doing some transitions and some more maneuverability type things and see what happens. Whatever I end up doing, I'll comment on at the end. So see you there. was not expecting that. I wanted for the first time today to sole down to flat for this, and I did. I was really happy about that, but then I realized I could lean in and get into the transition, so I just threw it and it connected. I'm amazed at how well these loose boots do in transition. I think I'm just good with loose boots, but as far as it goes, that's a first. So that's something the Carbons have given me that no other skate has given me. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna round out with some conclusions and we'll end it. Oh yeah, feeling good today. Carbon 4s. What does Spook think? All right, so if you couldn't tell already, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with my time back to the Carbon 4s. I'm gonna start off my conclusion with the boot and we'll go down from there. I mentioned this a little bit when I started and first put the boots on. There is a little bit of heel lift, which is surprising. With the 45-degree strap, it still has a decent amount of heel lift. While your heel kind of goes up and down a lot, it doesn't move side to side a lot for me. The Carbon kind of pinches your heel into place for sideways movement, but the 45-degree strap does not keep your foot down. This is an interesting combination between a soft and a hard boot. Obviously the Carbon is very rigid, but the fabric is soft enough to give you that leeway and grace I've been mentioning so much throughout this. I've actually really enjoyed how loose these were on my feet for the grinds that I've done today. I thought that a loose skate was gonna make me less confident, but seemingly it made me more confident, so that's pretty cool. These are pretty light skates too. I have noticed that they're a decent bit lighter than the Dem skates. This is a flat boot. I don't really find myself preferring raised or flat anymore. I used to prefer flat, but now I just don't really care. You just kind of have to figure out how to adjust between the two, especially if you're going to be switching between setups like I am. These skates don't have a lot of flex in the heel, but they have a ton of flex in the toe box. Like I was saying earlier, it kind of makes it so you can wiggle the front of your foot a little bit more and give some more influence to the front of your skate independently from the back of the skate. So you can again have a little bit more room and leeway to wiggle into that lock-in. Now onto the responsiveness. These are strangely not responsive. A big part of that is because of the fabric. When I'm really trying to get power down to the ground, I'm constantly just flexing that fabric and kind of pouring over what feels just like a platform that is the sole plate. I was bottoming out a lot with these. A big part is because the sole plate is massive and I have really small wheels, but I think it's because you have so much flex that you can easily lean into your sole plate when you're trying to run. So I was scraping these on the concrete a lot. The shreddability of these is really high. You can just kind of hop on these and do some really fun things. Like I said, these are really gracious, so I feel like you can lock in some things that you've been working on easier than a hard skate. The lock-in ability on these is like par none right now. I don't have another skate that I enjoy locking into a grind as much as I've enjoyed locking into this. The 909 is very, very close, but I've been slipping out a lot with those, and these plates still have a lot of life left in them, so those are giving me a lot of play, and that's nice. The maneuverability of these is not that great. Like I said, I found myself pouring over the platform that is the sole plate a lot and either bottoming out or tripping. And then I already kind of touched on this. Power transfer is not as good as it should be for a Carbon skate. I just don't get what it is about this fabric that takes away so much of that emphasis when you're pushing down on the ground, but it does. Not a huge fan of that. The sole plate itself does not slide very quickly. Again, these are old, so you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt, but I have noticed that even when I scrape them off and really clean these sole plates, they still don't slide as well as the 909 or the rims. The sole plate is really sturdy. I really can feel the connection when I get down to it. That with boot down as well. This being a soft boot, I can feel when I connect onto the sole plate. I wasn't doing a great job of that today because I'm not great with boot down, but it's nice to be able to know when you're doing it. I do want to touch on the 45-degree strap a little bit more. I love the look of it and I love the functionality of it, but it's crazy to me that even with this 45-degree strap, you're still getting as much heel lift as you do. I don't really know what they got to do to fix that, but it's definitely an issue. The Velcro also is coming off of the back end of the strap and is starting to separate from the boot itself, so I don't know how much life these straps have left in them. But the Velcro, the width, and the length are all fantastic for this boot. Like I was saying earlier, the cuff is definitely probably my least favorite cuff of any skate that I've skated. I don't like the way it feels on the back of my heel. I don't like the way it feels on the front of my heel. I don't like how it closes in on the sides. It is just not a good cuff. It does not feel good. It pinches a lot, and it's either super tight or super loose. I have not been able to find a good sweet spot for this that I can feel like all of my other skates do secure. This skate does not feel secure. I'm gonna touch a little bit on the laces. Like I said, I've got laced laces in here from Brandon Drummond. I won these in a competition of his, so thank you, Brandon. I'm sorry that I said I had them skates and put them on the Carbon 4s, but lacing these up sucked. The Carbon 4s have this weird like cloth lace loop that is just awful. It is so hard to get things into, and if your laces don't have aglets, like you have old laces that are really reliable but they don't have the plastic on them anymore, good luck getting them through those little eyelets. So I'm going to touch on the aesthetic of these. I do like the branding on this skate. I like the Universal Skate Design logo. I could do without the text on the side of the boot if they were going to have it on the 45-degree strap, but that's just me. I don't like the look of the toe protectors or whatever this toe nylon is. It definitely contrasts with the fabric. It makes it look like a really cheap plastic pleather. And that and the upper part of the skate, which I believe is pleather, is really thin and has started to wear away aggressively, and you can see some gray padding underneath it, and it just looks awful. Funny enough though, I get the most amount of compliments on these skates than I do anything else, and I think a big part is because of the carbon. But for me, what really sells it is the carbon heel. It looks so freaking good. It looks awesome at a distance, it looks awesome on camera, and when you see it in person for the first time, you're like, whoa, Ferrari. I really like the silhouette of this skate too. I like how shallow the toe box is on the top. It swoops in nice and makes it look like you've got streamlined foot. And of course the all black gets me, brings me back to my high school golf days, which wasn't a phase, Mom. Ow. The camera stopped recording and I had to come down and get that. I just hit my knee on the way back up. All right, so let me touch on sound last and then we'll get into final conclusions. I think these sounded all right. They're a little on the high pitch end for me, a little more clacky than thuddy. And I really like my skates to not sound cheap, especially because they aren't cheap. All right, but that being said, I think these are good skates. These are fantastic skates if you're trying to learn to grind or if you're trying to do some coping stuff. But if you're trying to just have a skate that does it all, this definitely isn't it. I did find it strange I was so confident in these boots. I think just because I was having such a good time today, but I was struggling like crazy with my 909s, doing almost these exact same tricks the last time I was here. That being said, I'll probably keep these boots with me when I like travel and whatnot, just to be the skates. If I am struggling, I throw on these to get the grinds. Like these I feel like will be the ones I can come back to and really consistently pull something out of. They're just not the most comfortable. If these were more comfortable, these would be my mains, but they're not as comfortable as the 909s. And that's not the skate's fault necessarily. Everybody's foot is different, and even minute differences are gonna make certain skates feel like hell compared to other ones, and vice versa for other people, you know? So for me, these aren't perfect for my foot, but they are fantastic for grinding. They aren't the best for transition. They're a little weeble wobbly, but if you're confident in your transition, you can make it work. I hope that this video gave you some good information, whether or not you're looking to get some Carbon 4s, you own Carbon 4s and want to know someone else's opinion, or if you're just really nice to me and support me for whatever reason. I love you. Speaking of support, this summer I'm doing a Michigan series of skate park tours. It's called the Summer of Cess. I have information on my Instagram and in the skate park Discord, which again, speaking of support, come to the skate park Discord and we'll support you. Please submit your clips and we'll do community edits every month. We love to discuss people skating, we love to give each other tips, and we just love blading. So if you want to be part of a community edit, come join us at the skate park Discord. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Spook Wackadook. I'm out of here. Later, bladers.